Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. Okay, Monday Night Football recap last night's classic game. We have Major League Baseball, WNBA, soccer, NFL Power Rankings, and then a little twist to it with a theme. A new segment, Overreaction Tuesday NFL Bet. So we'll be doing this once a week. News and notes and best bet. All right, we'll start with Monday Night Football. Great game. Division game. Vikings come back to beat the Packers 27-24 in J.J. McCarthy's first game. The dude is freaking clutch. He had the history of it in Michigan with that comeback against Alabama. Vikings are 1-0. Chicago's 0-1. But it was looking like a nightmare for J.J. McCarthy, but he turned it around. So, credit to where credit's due. Minnesota actually was up 27-17, and then the Bears made it close. So, good for Minnesota. Good for J.J. McCarthy. It was not the Arch Manning week for him. So that's good, meaning Arch Manning against Ohio State. That's what a lot of people said that was going to be for him. But it wasn't. So that's that. We'll move on to baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today. There's no matinee games today, so that's good. Guardians over the Royals 10-2. Nats over the Marlins 15-7. Mets over the Phillies. Phillies over the Mets 1-0. Braves over the Cubs 4-1. Rangers over the Brewers 5-0. Twins over the Angels 12-3. Padres over the Reds 4-3-10 on a walk-off sac fly by Fernando Tatis Jr. Mariners over the Cardinals 4-2. So best bet wins. Giants over the Diamondbacks 11-5. Red Sox over the A's 7-0. And the Dodgers over the Rockies 3-1. So the other one I was looking at for best bet won too. The Red Sox on the run line, but I didn't go there because West Coast, that makes me nervous. All right, 6:30 tonight, Pirates O's. Mike Burrows and Kyle Bradish. Okay, so O's minus 154, Pirates plus 130, over under 8, overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Pirates plus 1/2 is minus 166. O's minus 1/2 plus 138. At this time of the year, when both teams are under 500, it's always fun to bet the dogs. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh at plus 130. Royals Guardians. Noah Cameron and Joey Cantillo. Guardians minus 118. Royals even money, over under 7.5. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Royals minus 1/2 plus 172. Guardians plus 1/2 is minus 210. I'm going to go with the Royals at even money. So 2 picks, 2 dogs. Nats Marlins. Mitch Parker and Adam Mazer. Marlins minus 122. Nats plus 104. Over under 9. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Nats plus 1/2 is minus 205. Marlins minus 1/2 plus 168. I like the over. Um, 6:45 Mets Phils. Sean Manaea and Ranger Suarez. Phils minus 134. Mets plus 116. Over under 8.5. Overs plus 102. Unders minus 124. Mets plus 1/2 is minus 94. Phils minus 1/2 plus 158. Tough one. I'm gonna do alt under 7.5 plus 110. Alrighty. 7 o'clock, TBS. Big game in the American League. Tigers, Yankees. Yankees won back of the Tigers in the loss column in the American League. Casey might as well warn. So the Yankees quietly up to 17 games over 500. That's what an easy schedule does for you. And then give them credit. They did go 4-2 against the Astros and the Jays. Casey Mize and Will Warren. Yanks minus 156, Tigers plus 132, over under 8.5, overs minus 8, unders minus 112. Tigers plus 1.5 is minus 156, Yankees minus 1.5 is plus 130. I'm going to go with the under, but I do not feel good about it. Next, Astros Jays. Shane Bieber. It says Shane Bieber on FanDuel, but Jose Bruce and ESPN. And then Luis Garcia. Jays minus 154, Astros plus 130, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Astros plus 1.5 is minus 156, Jays minus 1.5 plus 130. Over. Regardless of who's on the mound. 7:15, Cubs Braves. Cade Horton, Spencer Strider. Pick a minus 185, over under 8.5. Overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Cubs minus 1.5 plus 146. Braves plus 1.5 minus 176. I like the Cubs on the money line minus 108. The reason why it's a pick 'em is because Spencer Strider's a big name, but has a bad ERA and might be pitching injured. 7:30, Rays White Sox, Adrian Hauser and Yoendris Gomez. Rays minus 134, White Sox plus 114, over under 8.5, overs even money, unders minus 122. Rays plus or minus 1.5 is plus 122, White Sox plus 1.5 is minus 146. I like the over at even money. 8 o'clock, Brewers Rangers. You have Jack Leiter and Chad Patrick. Pick 'em, minus weight each way, over under 8.5. Overs minus 106, unders minus 114. Brewers minus 1.5 plus 142, Rangers plus 1.5 minus 172. Only because it's a must win for the Rangers that have taken them. That's probably why it's a pick 'em. A lot of later night games tonight. 9:30, Twins Angels. Zebby Matthews and Kyle Hendricks. Twins minus 120, Angels minus 102, over under 9, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Twins minus 1.5 plus 132, Angels plus 1.5 minus 160, over. Reds Padres, Zach Little, Michael King. I think Michael King's barely pitched this year. Padres minus 196, Reds plus 164, over under 7.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Reds plus 1.5 is minus 126, Padres minus 1.5 plus 105. Think the Yankees are regretting that one right now? They could use him. Michael King. Trade him for some guy that helped to go to the World Series but is on the other team in town now. Just saying. Probably there's a chance they put the wrong pitcher in the trade. Although if somebody else went in that trade, they would have been Michael King probably. Only because it's Michael King, I'm going to go with the under. 9:45, D-backs Giants, Zach Gallen, Robbie Ray. Oh, I skipped one. Cards Mariners. We'll go back to D-backs Giants. Matthew Libator, George Kirby. Mariners minus 15, Cards plus 180, over under 7.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Cards plus 1.5 minus 122, Mariners minus 1.5 plus 102, over. I don't know why it's 7.5 with two guys with ERAs over 4. And then back to D-backs Giants, Gallen and Ray. Giants minus 142, D-backs plus 120, over under 7.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 184, Giants minus 1.5 plus 152. I'm going over there as well. Red Sox, A's. Josh Springs. And making his debut for the Red Sox is Connolly Early. Pick 'em, minus 188, over under 10.5. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Red Sox minus 1.5 plus 140, A's plus 1.5 minus 170. With the guy making his debut on Boston, Springs' ERA is over 4. I'm actually going over in A's home game. And then last but not least, Rockies, Dodgers, Herman Marquez, and Emmett Sheehan. Dodgers minus 335. Rockies plus 270 over under 9. Overs minus 4. Unders minus 118. Rockies plus 1/2 is plus 125. Dodgers minus 1/2 is minus 150. I'm going to go with the over. Okay, now move on to the WNBA. We had one game last night, and then we have, I believe, a couple tonight. There's WNBA. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Ooh, there's a lot of games tonight. Dream over the Sun, 87-62. All right. Tonight, 7 o'clock. Mystics Liberty from Barclays. Just going to pull up the lines real quick. I'm surprised this... I mean, we have 2 more days left of the season. The Liberty are giving 14.5 totals, 157. I haven't taken the Mystics getting the points. That's a lot of points. 7:30, Lynx Fever. The Lynx are giving 2 totals, 164. The Lynx have everything wrapped up. I'm taking Indy getting the 2 in spite of no Caitlin Clark. That game's on ESPN and Disney Plus, by the way. 10 o'clock, Sky Aces. Aces are giving 18, total 159. Over. NBA TV, Sparks Mercury. The Mercury are giving 7.5, totals 172.5. I'm going to go with the under. I think that's a high total. Valkyrie Storm. The Storm are giving 6.5, totals 152. That's way too high. Give me Golden State getting the 6 in the hook. Golden State's been a fun team to bet on WNBA this year, or give out at least. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the notable results from yesterday, and we will go over today's slate. All right, so international friendlies. Malaysia over Palestine 1-0. Indonesia, Lebanon 0-0 draw. Syria, Kuwait 2-2 draw. United Arab Emirates over Bahrain 1-0, and Czech Republic, Saudi Arabia 1-1 draw. UEFA. Scotland over Belarus 2-0. Croatia over Montenegro 4-0. Faroe Islands over Gibraltar 1-0. Denmark over Greece 3-0. Italy over Israel 5-4. Kosovo over Sweden 2-0. Switzerland over Slovenia 3-0. And then Africa qualifying. Tunisia over Equatorial Guinea 1-0. Mozambique over Botswana 2-0. Morocco over Zambia 2-0. Guinea, Algeria 0-0 draw. Guinea-Bissau over Djibouti 2-0. Madagascar over Chad 3-1. Malawi, Liberia 2-2 draw. Uganda over Somalia 2-0. Congo and Eritrea canceled. Ghana over Mali 1-0. And Libya over Swanee 2-0. And in CONCACAF, Suriname over El Salvador 2-1. And Panama, Guatemala 1-1 draw. All right, so international friendly finals from today. Estonia, Andorra, 0-0 draw. Nepal and Bangladesh got canceled. Sri Lanka and Maldives 1-1 draw. Singapore and Myanmar 1-1 draw. Australia over New Zealand 3-1. All right, going on right now, Jordan and DR and Wales, Canada. And then 3 o'clock we have Malta and San Marino. This is international friendlies. So Malta minus 125, San Marino 12-1, the draws plus 410. I'm going to go over 2.5 goals plus 120. 7 o'clock TNT, US, Japan on Japan plus 15, U.S. plus 240, draw plus 3. Japan plus 115. This U.S. team's overrated, as you know, and I can't bet on them till I've earned trust. 9 o'clock, or should I say give them out or bet. 9 o'clock, South Korea and Mexico. Mexico plus 130, South Korea plus 220, draw plus 210. I'm going to go with Mexico at plus 130. All right, UEFA finals. Armenia over Ireland 2-1. Azerbaijan, Ukraine 1-1 draw. Going on right now. Albania, Latvia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Austria, Cyprus, Romania, France, Iceland, Hungary, Portugal, Norway, Moldova, Serbia, England. All right, calm the ball tonight. 7 o'clock, you have Ecuador and Argentina. Ecuador plus 210, Argentina plus 170, draw plus 170. I'm going with the draw plus 170. That's a hard one to pick. Bolivia, Brazil, 7:30. Brazil plus 130, Bolivia plus 230, draw plus 210. I'm going with Brazil at plus 130. Chile, Uruguay. Uruguay even money, Chile plus 320, draw plus 210. Uruguay even money. Peru, Paraguay. Peru plus 140, Paraguay plus 220, draw plus 170. I'm going to go with Peru plus 150. And Venezuela, Colombia. Venezuela plus 160, Colombia plus 180, draw plus 210. I'm going with the draw plus 210. All right, CONCACAF, 8 o'clock. Actually, we're going to go back to that. We have CAF coming up at 3. I want to get those. Oh, they're moving on the fly. I'll just announce them. Angola and Mauritius, Benin, Lesotho, Gabon, Ivory Coast, Gambia, and Burundi, and Mauritania and South Sudan. And then finals, Kenya over Cyclas 5-0, Nambila over Sao Tome and Prince 3-0, Sierra Leone over Ethiopia 2-0, Niger over Tunisia 1-0. This is Africa, not Asia. Rwanda over Zimbabwe 1-0, Egypt, Burkina Faso 0-0 draw, Cape Verde Islands over Cameroon 1-0, Senegal over Congo DR 3-2, South Africa, Nigeria 1-1 draw, and Togo over Sudan 1-0. Okay, now back to CONCACAF. I forgot I do CAF. They put these out of order. Curacao and Bermuda. Curacao minus 550, Bermuda plus 950. The draw is 5-1. Over 3.5 goals plus 120. Jamaica and Trinidad Tobago. Jamaica minus 320, Trinidad plus 750. The draw is plus 380. I'm going to go under 2.5 goals at even money. 10 o'clock, Costa Rica and Haiti. Costa Rica minus 190, Haiti plus 470, draw plus 290. Over 2.5 goals minus 108. And Honduras and Nicaragua. Honduras minus 320, Nicaragua plus 750, draw plus 360. Over 2.5 goals minus 110. All right. There you have it for soccer. Now we're going to do my NFL Power Rankings for the week. The theme is awards. So I'm going to say what the award is first, then I'm going to say the team. So it's going to be a little bit more fun. All right, 32. How did this team come so close in week 1 award? The New Orleans Saints. I still think this is the worst team in football. And I think that's the result we're going to look back on and say, how did they come so close? It's kind of like Tennessee last year. Now looking back, remember, like, oh, competitive game in their first game with their new coach, Brian Callahan, and yada, yada. But they really don't have a quarterback. Yeah, that's how I see this season playing out for the Saints. Kind of like Tennessee last year. 31. The competitive tanking team award, the Cleveland Browns. Talk about competitive tanking. Almost winning the game against the Bengals and then chucking the field goal. That's tanking. Number 30, the most likely blow it up roster, the Miami Dolphins. They were just a train wreck in game 1 of the season. My goodness. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Saints obviously coming off competitive loss against the Cards. Next week, they host the Niners. Browns coming off close loss against the Bengals. Next week, they're at the Ravens. And the Dolphins, ugly loss against the Colts coming up. They are hosting New England. Number 29, the award for just get the rookie quarterback in right now. The New York Football Giants, obviously coming off the loss against Washington, coming up at Dallas. And by the way, all 4 teams 0-1. Number 28, the classic second half of last season's Fool's Gold Award. The Carolina Panthers 0-1. Coming up, they are at Arizona. And then obviously they lost at Jacksonville last week. Number 27, most likely to improve from week 1 award. This is just a guess. Because I didn't know what to do here. The Tennessee Titans, the competitive-ish loss at Denver. Cam Ward showed signs. And then coming up, they host the Rams. Number 26, the New Coach Same Look Award. The New England Patriots, 0-1, lost at home to the Raiders. Coming up, they're at the Dolphins. Number 25, the Most Likely to Spoil Survivor Pools and Teasers Awards. The New York Football Jets, who were really competitive and fun in their first game against Pittsburgh. They're 0-1. So they lost at home to Pittsburgh and Rodgers, and then coming up, they're hosting the Bills. Number 24, the Rejuvenated Quarterback on a New Team Award. Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts, coming off the win at home against the Dolphins. Coming up, they host Denver. Number 23, the Ewing Theory Team Award. The team that loses their best player and actually performs pretty well. The Dallas Cowboys. They lose Micah Parsons in the trade, but they were toe-to-toe with Philly. I know it was all on offense, but they could be the Ewing Theory team if they win some games. I know they're 0-1 and they lost, but still. They're the Ewing Theory team, even in defeat. They have signs. And then coming up, they host the Giants, which is a winnable game and as a favorite for them. Number 22, the 1.5 and done award, which is the Antonio Pierce Award. He was 1.5 and done. Raheem Morris in the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously took over midseason last year and it could be fired at the end of this year. Another close loss at home against the Bucs. They're also 0-1. Coming up, they are at Minnesota Sunday night. Number 21, the 2-year Contender Wonder Award / Year from Hell pending. So this is 2 awards to this team. The 2-year Contender Wonder, or the 1-year Wonder, as some may say. In terms of elite team, the 1-year Wonder, but a contender-wise, a 2-year Wonder, or the Year from Hell team. It could be both. The Detroit Lions, 0-1, lost at Lambeau against the Packers. They looked awful. And then coming up, they are hosting the Bears. Number 20, the Classic Hot Starter Award. The Arizona Cardinals, this is them every year. They are 1-0. They beat the Panthers. This is the lowest 1-0 team I have, only because of who they beat. Who is a team that I have 32 in the power ranking. So there you go. And then coming up, they host the Panthers with a chance to go 2-0. Number 19, the award for the new coach bump. The Las Vegas Raiders get the win at New England on the road. They're 1-0, and then coming up, they host the Chargers on Monday Night Football. I cannot wait for that game. That game is going to be so fun. Number 18, the Let's See It Again Against Good Teams Award, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a believer in the Jaguars. But that was against the Panthers, who, like I said, might have been the fool's gold team from last year. So they're 1-0, obviously. Coming up for them, they're at the Bengals. All right. Number 17, the Falling for the One-Year Wonder Award, the Seattle Seahawks, meaning falling for Sam Darnold. They lost at home against the Niners. Close game. But Darnold wasn't great. And then coming up, Seattle is where's Seattle next? At Pittsburgh. Number 16, the But We Tried to Fix It Award, referring to this team's terrible offensive line, the Houston Texans, who are 0-1, lost to the Rams. Coming up for them, they are hosting the Bucs on Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football is a doubleheader this week. And obviously these are overreactions, but I'm doing it in like the theme of awards. Number 15, the Nobody Believes in Us Award, or the Nobody Believed in Us Award. Team that was actually favored by 6.5 points. Seemed like everybody picked the underdog. And this was a team that was in the Final Four last year. I'm talking about the Washington Commanders. Nobody picked them to cover in week 1. Everyone and their brother had the Giants. That's probably had something to do with the what happened, because that always freaking happens. But yeah, the Commanders get the Nobody Believes in Us / Believed in Us award. So they beat the Giants, obviously. They're 1-0, and then coming up, they're at Green Bay. Not easy. Number 14, the Moral Victory Award. They're going to be doing victory laps because this is the golden boy who was the number 1 pick in the draft last year. He's so special. What the fuck has Caleb Williams ever done? Chicago Bears. I just can't stand the darling team where the quarterback has done nothing and the coach is new. Listen, they did show promise, but their defense still has problems, and the team still has problems. And like I said, there's going to be people giving them the participation trophy for being competitive against a redshirt quarterback in J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, and should have won the game. Listen, that's all true. They should have won the game. But yeah, they get the Moral Victory Award because the media is going to be doing a round of applause for special Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Yeah, there's a reason I picked them to go 8-9. It has nothing to do with Caleb Williams. It has to do with their defense and their some other issues I could see. And their schedule, obviously. But yeah, next up for the Bears, they're at Detroit. So number 13 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I blew it. So they get the award for the same script. They always are trailing at halftime and they always win the game. It's the same script. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It's the same freaking script with the Steelers. They obviously beat the Jets, and coming up, they have a good chance to go 2-0 as they host the Seahawks. Number 12, the award for the traditional slow starter. Or the slow starters award. It's traditional for this team, just like it was traditional for another team with the fast starter, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. I know they won, but the Browns gave that game away. That said more about the Browns and them being inept than it did Cincinnati. Like, the Giants would have beaten Cincinnati, for crying out loud. Or the Jets. Or Carolina would be a little bit of an insult, and so would Miami. But who knows? The Giants or the Jets could have beaten the Bengals. So yeah, they get my award for the traditional slow starter. So they barely beat the Browns, and next up they host the Jags. Number 11, the questioning whether it's over or not award. the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, the Chiefs are out of the top 10. I have a lot of concerns about them on both sides of the ball. This could be like a 2014 Patriots situation where they got to a slow start and everybody's talking shit about them, and then they have a kick-ass game like the 2014 Patriots did against the Bengals. I remember the Patriots started 2-2 that year. The Bengals were 4-0 with Andy Dalton. Sunday Night Football. Bengals, believe it or not, were favored. Or maybe the Patriots might have been a 2-point favorite, but I feel like the Bengals were favored in that game, and everyone, their mother was picking them. I picked New England, and New England blew them out. And Tom Brady did it's still me. So I think that could be the Chiefs this year. So the award for them, like I said, is questions. The it's over question is their award for me. Number 10, always finding ways. That's the Los Angeles Rams. They always find the way, no matter who's hurt and how poorly they play. Sean McVay and company always find the way to get it done. This one's a little bit insulting, so I apologize. Number 9 is the Injury Report Award. That's the San Francisco 49ers. I feel like every damn week you have to look at the injury report and how long it is. It's like every player on the roster's on there. Like Brock Purdy might not even play Sunday. George Kittle's out for a couple weeks. So, I didn't even do the... Alright, so the Chiefs lost to the Chargers in Brazil. Next up, they host the Eagles. Rams beat the Texans. Next up, they are at Tennessee. 49ers beat the Seahawks in Seattle. Next up, they're at New Orleans. Could be trappy. Number 8, the Are We Sure He's Good award. Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix looked terrible the other day. I'm sorry. People I'll admit, myself included, were penciling in Denver as the second best team in the AFC West, and it was because of their defense and an expected year 2 leap from Bo Nix. So yeah, the Are We Sure He's Good award going to Bo Nix and the Broncos. So they beat the Titans in week 1 at home. Coming up, they are at Indy. All right, so number 7, the Let's Give Them More Respect award. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of people picked the Falcons in that game because of all the injuries. Baker Mayfield said, "Not so fast, my friend." So let's give the Bucs more respect. So they beat the Falcons in Atlanta, and then coming up for the Bucs, they're at Houston on Monday Night Football. Number 6, the Leap Quarterback Award. It goes to, obviously, Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. Finally. Freaking finally. This is another golden boy. This is like the generation before Caleb Williams is golden boy. Justin Herbert. But they get it done against the Chiefs. And then coming up, they are at the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Like I said, I cannot wait for that game. Number 5, the We Were Right About the Quarterback Award, the Minnesota Vikings. I know he was bad most of the game, but part of this is because Sam Darnold was bad the other day. So it has to do with Sam Darnold too. And then JJ was clutch in the fourth quarter. Give him credit. He turned it around. The Bears let him hang around, and he let the rust come off, and he was making plays. Give J.J. McCarthy credit for the comeback. So the overreaction for the Vikings is we were right about the QB choice. So they beat the Bears on Monday Night Football in Chicago, and then coming up, they host the Falcons on Sunday Night Football. So 2 primetime games in a row for the Minnesota Vikings, which is good. That's respectful for them, and I'm happy for them for that because they're a good football team. Put respect on their name. Like, why don't the Bucs get this respect? Number 4, the big name coach that's not top 5 anymore. John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. John Harbaugh and the Ravens have blown so many double-digit leads in the fourth quarter over the past 4 years or so. They blew that game against the Dolphins at home. They let Tua come back. Daniel Jones and the Giants came back against them in New York. In East Rutherford. We saw it happen with the Bills. I believe it happened against Pittsburgh one time. We saw it against Jacksonville one time. We've seen it against a lot of teams. And it almost happened against the Bengals last year, but McPherson missed the kick. So, yeah. That's kind of an overreaction, but it could be true. I said the same thing about Justin Tucker last year, but I proved to be right. So, yeah. They lose against the Bills on Sunday night. And then coming up, they host the Browns in a must-win game, dare I say. But then again, week 2 against the Raiders for them was a must-win last year, and they lost. And then they were 0-2 and knocked people out of their survivor pools. Number 3, the MVP is over award. Just hand the man the award. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. This might not be an overreaction. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in football, not Patrick Mahomes, right now. And because of that comeback, the MVP is over. So they beat the Ravens in the thrilling comeback. Coming up, they're at the Jets. Could be a trap game. So you have the highest 0-1 team on here is obviously the Ravens. Number 2, the Drama for the Wrong Reasons Award. This team's 1-0, but there was a lot of drama. There's always drama with this team, even though they are your Super Bowl champs, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Carter with the spit. That's drama. Philly's Karen, I know that's not them. Drama. This is the drama team, the drama city. Joel Embiid. But yeah, the Eagles always cause drama as well, like we saw with Jalen Carter. And obviously, there's more. But like I said, this is an overreaction segment, but it could be. But usually if something dirty like that, it could be a bad sign for more drama. But coming up, obviously they last week they beat the Cowboys in the opener. And then coming up, they're at the Chiefs. And number 1, the best team in the NFL award, the Green Bay Packers, who are my pick to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. They beat the Lions. They get Micah Parsons. And then coming up, they are home against Washington on Thursday Night Football. So, Washington, how about that, gets the doubleheader 1 o'clock game. And then gets Thursday night. So that's respectful for them. And I think the Giants, ironically, get the doubleheader. Or wait a minute. No, the doubleheader was on CBS. So Washington didn't get it. I keep thinking Fox had the doubleheader, but it was CBS. So Steelers-Jets was the doubleheader. The doubleheader 1 o'clock. Yeah, Giants-Cowboys, I think, is doubleheader 1 o'clock if Fox has it next week. I just have to double check on that. Okay, now we'll move on to my NFL bet for week 2 that I'm going to make already. Week 1 is over, so I'm going to do this. I may do this every day, and then obviously do the Fab 5 as well. So I'm going to do $2 on this. So that would be a 50th of a unit. My early bet for week 2, only because it's going to be Thursday night. So mine is because I like this side so much. So I'm going to bet it now. Green Bay minus 3.5. I just think that they're a team on a mission. Parsons knows Washington and Jaden Daniels. I just think it's going to say a lot about the Giants potentially with Washington. And it's another message with Green Bay, proving that they're the team to beat in the NFC with Parsons. So I'm going to lay 3.5 with Green Bay against Washington. And that's going to be my Tuesday NFL bet of the week. Okay, now we'll do the news and notes for today. So the Bulls give Josh Giddey a 4-year, $100 million deal, so that's finally done before the season starts. Ohio State head coach Ryan Day rips portal changes, says he's not a fan of proposal to eliminate spring transfer portal. I don't like the transfer portal starting during bowl season. As long as that goes on, I don't care what Ryan Day thinks. Terry Rozier uninterested in buyout as he's not drawing free agent interest amid federal gambling investigation. How about this? Trae Young's Hawks future is Mercury. First, section, and second luxury tax aprons put future max contract, long-term marriage in doubt. I told you the new rules are going to make guys get traded. So Colorado's making a quarterback change as Ryan Staub is expected to start against Houston. Gators defensive tackle Brendan Bett apologizes for the spit after spitting on USF player during upset loss. Belichick denied 4 trademarks as USPTO cited likelihood of confusion with previously filed phrases. Alec Boehm and Trey Turner placed on the injured list against them, as they won't be with them against the Mets. Well, it looks like they're going to miss them. They only won 1-0. So the Bills banned the fan for shoving Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm not surprised. Kevin O'Connell had a epic post-game speech after the win on Monday Night Football. The 49ers are cutting Jake Moody. That's not surprising. The Steelers are signing Jabril Peppers. So that is interesting. What's also interesting is that the Eagles are acquiring Tank Bigsby from the Jaguars for 2026 5th and 6th round picks. So they get a good running back behind Barkley. I think that Tank Bigsby's better than a backup. I think he's better off in a platoon role. To me, that's a kind of a red flag. Are we sure Saquon Barkley's okay? So the Chicago Bears announced stadium plans as Kevin Warren is eyeing new fixed-roof stadium in Arlington Heights. So Ben Simmons lost his agent after Simmons turned down the Knicks' interest. George Kittle on the injured list due to hamstring injury. Brock Purdy has 2 injuries, toe and shoulder. Jalen Johnson didn't play against the Vikings because of the groin and calf injuries. Xavier Worthy's day-to-day. Could play with the brace. They're saying he's not going to be playing. So that's interesting. So Deshaun Elliott expected to be out a couple of weeks for Pittsburgh, so that's why they signed Peppers. And then Brian Callahan talks no challenge as he admitted he misinterpreted catch rule after controversial call on Sunday. So there you have it for the news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So there is one number that stood out to me, and I'm going to go to the same matchup as I did for yesterday's best bet, except I'm going to go with something different. Over 7.5, -115 between the Cards and the Mariners. That's too low of a number. So I'm going to go with that over for best bet. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look ahead to everything tomorrow. Golf's going to be back in the mix, so that should be fun. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.